Hello, my friends. On this night, I want to destroy the moon. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. When Stephen looked around, his mood changed. He understood that darkness conquered everything and also his heart. Stephen was scared and wanted to throw this feeling far away. He always was brave and everyone knew this. Stephen continued walking. He was hoping that the forest will end very soon and some beautiful little town would appear. A sense of shame came to him. When someone needed help, he knew that Stephen would do everything. If people saw Stephen in this position, everyone would smile. After a few minutes, the forest ended, but the beautiful town did not appear. Only the highway and nothing more. Stephen stood on the highway and started to wait for some transport. At first, he saw only the light. After this, he heard a motorcycle and a smile sound. Maybe bikers would help him? Stephen thought that situation is becoming much good, but suddenly he became scared. Stephen was watching one of the bikers and trying to understand what was happening. The biker had Wolf's head. When they passed Stephen, Wolf's head biker looked at him. After a few seconds, they stopped. The Wolf's head biker turned back and screamed. The food came to us. Other bikers started to howl and began to smile. Hey boys, is this some weird joke? Stephen asked. No boy, it is some weird reality. The werewolf answered. They transformed very quickly and started running towards Stephen. Scared, Stephen entered the forest. He was running as fast as he could. And why he went outside the forest? Yes, the forest was scary, but werewolves were much scary and dangerous. He was running fast, but Stephen never had good cardio. He quickly tired and fell down. After a few seconds, he barely stood up to continue walking. At first, he looked back. There was no one. Maybe he escaped the werewolves group? It was great. Stephen looked forward and saw the werewolf. The monster moved his hands to catch Stephen, but the boy went back. At that moment, Stephen once again fell down. Maybe 2 seconds and the werewolf would kill him, but suddenly a dog appeared next to Stephen and began to bark. Stephen realized that luck left him. Only one dog appeared and this dog was some small stray. In the next moment, werewolf stopped, turned back and ran away. Boys, we need to go. The werewolf screamed. This lame boy has lit a wren. Stephen stood up. He was standing and thinking about what just happened. After a few minutes, he looked at little dog and asked, "What the hell just happened?" The dog was watching him and moving his tail. After a few seconds, Stephen went away. He looked back and saw that a dog was following him. Stephen could get back on the highway, but if some guy would come with the car and it will turn out that he is the werewolf? No, the highway was a very dangerous place. He needed to find the city and ask for help. Stephen was thinking and suddenly he realized what happened. The forest ended. He was standing in a small city. He turned back and screamed. Hey, doggy, we did it. The dog started barking and jumping. Stephen continued walking. He saw a big church and city lights. This place was very beautiful. Stephen only now realized that he could not say what happened. No one will trust him. The werewolves pack attacked him? No, it would be a stupid joke for everyone. Stephen needed to say something different. Yes, but the main thing was to go away very quickly. He needed some transport. Stephen saw that this beautiful place had ended, and the creepy side of the city began. There were only old wooden houses. Also, the city lights were so old. This place really needed renewal. He saw a black figure and scared. The strange man started walking. He was coming towards Stephen. Maybe the stranger was the werewolf. Stephen looked back and asked the dog, "Are you here? I need your protection." The dog barked. Stephen smiled and said, "I'm talking with the dog. It is so crazy." At this time the stranger closed the distance. The dog went forward and started barking. "Wow, you have the Laderen." He smiled. "It is very amazing." "I heard this word a second time," Stephen said. "What does it mean?" The stranger closed the distance. He was an old man. The stranger had a white beard. "Laderen is a magic dog," he answered. "The chosen humans are living in the world. If the Laderen will see like this human, it would become his dog." Stephen was very interested, but suddenly he heard the roar and screaming. Maybe some big animal was killing the human. Stephen turned back and tried to understand what was happening. "Someone needs help," he said. The stranger turned back and walked away. "We need to go," he said. "In this city, many humans and monsters are dying. We could not change it." Stephen turned back and followed the stranger. "My name is Roger," the old man said. "I'm Stephen. You are the chosen one." Roger smiled. "The Laderen chose you." Stephen saw that group of people was running in another direction. They were screaming and crying. "This way," Roger said, and they went to another street. Stephen looked at the dog and asked, "If a dog can defeat the monsters, maybe we will help these people?" "Laderen is very strong, but if some monster sees you with the dog, the hunt would begin," Roger answered. "The biker werewolf saw me with Laderen," Stephen said. "He scared and ran away." "Oh, no." Roger stopped and opened the door. They quickly entered the house. This was a big but old house. Stephen looked out the window and saw how a werewolf caught the human and killed him. Roger brought the food. They sat in a chair and began to eat. The old man told that Stephen came to a very strange city. The name of the city was the Fog. There were living humans and monsters. The streets were not safe. Every night was so terrible. Death wanted to kill everyone. The war between humans and monsters was continuing. Last time, when a human came here with Laderen, the monsters were defeated. Some strange men defeated every night creature. It was good that Stephen came here. Stephen told how simple boy he was. Roger did not believe it. He said that Laderen never was making mistakes. Quickly, stood up. Roger screamed. Stephen stood up and turned back. The white fog was coming. The dog was standing very close to Stephen. Roger touched Stephen and said that he was close, but in the next moment, when Stephen looked back, the old man was gone. Also, the dog disappeared. Only white fog and nothing more. "Laderen, help me!" Stephen screamed. Suddenly everything became black. Stephen was walking in the darkness and trying to find his friends. After a few seconds, white fogs came back. Stephen saw a man who was dressed in the black mantle. He had red eyes and big white claws. The scary stranger was coming close. scared Stephen once again realized that he was not chosen one. He ran away and after a few minutes looked back. It seemed that Stephen was safe, but the motorcycle sound once again scared him. Stephen saw lights and heard a howl. He turned back and ran away. It was too much for Stephen. He was dying because Stephen had bad cardio. The bikers were close, but suddenly someone caught Stephen and said, "Don't worry. I'm a friend." The stranger took Stephen on another street. Stephen looked at the stranger and saw a young man. "My name is Ralph," he said. Stephen was very happy because he did not have problems with friends. The dog became his friend, after this Roger and now Ralph. "I was in the house." Stephen started talking. Suddenly white fog appeared and everything went very badly. "This town is very dangerous," Ralph said. They began walking. Stephen was happy because he survived, but the young man wanted to go from this creepy city. "How you came here?" Ralph asked. Stephen told everything. Ralph's face changed and he asked, "Did you saw the church and the city lights?" "Yes," Stephen answered. "What's wrong?" "This is a secret place," Ralph said. "Only the chosen people can find this place." "No way." Stephen smiled. "Roger also told me that I'm the chosen one." Ralph opened the door and they entered a house. Tired Stephen sat down in the chair and wanted to close his eyes, but suddenly he became scared. Stephen saw the red dress of the biker. He stood up and looked out the window. Stephen saw the bike. He was in Werewolf's house. Ralph was this werewolf who was following him and who scared because of the dog. "What's up, Stephen?" Ralph smiled. "When the dog appeared I realized that you are a chosen one. I was searching for you." "You know that Lidoren is protecting me," Stephen said. "And where is your stupid dog?" Ralph asked and transformed into the werewolf. At this time the window broke and Lidoren attacked the werewolf. "Get out, you stupid dog!" Ralph hit Lidoren and the dog fell back. In the next moment, the angry Lidoren became much bigger. Maybe the dog was larger than a lion. Lidoren attacked the werewolf. Ralph was fighting well, but Lidoren damaged him very badly and the werewolf ran away. "You are the best dog." Stephen smiled and the dog barked. Stephen left the house. He was walking in the night city and Lidoren followed him. The dog defeated one werewolf, but if Ralph would find his friends, they would attack together and maybe defeat the dog. Stephen needed to be very smart. One mistake and his life would end. First of all, he needed to get back Roger's house. Stephen was trying to find a house, but Roger appeared and smiled. "Hey Stephen. I thought that the chosen one disappeared, but you are still here." "Ralph wanted to end my life, but Lidoren saved me," Stephen said. He told everything to Roger. The old man was surprised. "The place where it is a church in the city lights," Roger said. "We need to go there." They started walking. Roger told that werewolves wanted to control the whole city. The bloody war was going. Ralph was one of the ruthless monsters. He killed many enemies, but Ralph had much more perspective. Maybe it sounded very stupid, but Ralph had old armor. If he finds a secret place where the church and city lights are located, Ralph will become very strong, Roger said. They needed to come there very quickly and protect the secret place. Stephen did not know how, but he very easily found out the secret place. When Roger saw the church, his face changed. He became really happy. The old man came close to the city light and took the broken sword. "What are you doing?" Stephen asked. "Oh, my stupid boy," Roger smiled. "I was searching for this place for a long time. I finally found out the broken sword and it would give me the infinity power." The dog quickly transformed and became much bigger. Roger looked at the dog. At first, his eyes changed. It became red. After this, his dress changed. Right now, front of Stephen was standing creepy man with red eyes and black mantle. "I saw you in the fog," Stephen screamed. "Yes, the fog shows my true form," Roger smiled. Lidoren jumped, but Roger moved his right hand and the dog totally burned. Lidoren fell down. Roger smiled and screamed. "Right now the dog could not defeat me. I'm stronger." Suddenly Werewolf jumped and caught Roger. The old man screamed, but the next instant, Ralph cut the head of the witch with the iron claws of a werewolf. Ralph had armor on his body. He started walking towards Stephen. "Right now the chosen one will die," Ralph said, but Burned Dog stood up and bit his neck. The werewolf roared and threw the dog away. Lidoren was burned, but after a few seconds the dog stood up. Lidoren was regenerating very quickly. Lidoren attacked the werewolf. This place really made Ralph stronger. This time he was fighting much better. Stephen saw that Magic Dog was losing the fight with armored and upgraded werewolf. He quickly took the broken sword and hit the werewolf. Ralph screamed and fell down. He was dead. Stephen quickly went away. He entered the forest. Stephen was going and hearing how werewolf bikers are moving in the highway and screaming, "Where are you, Ralph?" They were searching leader, but Ralph was dead. Stephen was walking and finally, the forest ended. He left the forest and looked back. Lidoren barked and turned back. Stephen knew that his mission ended. Right now Lidoren needed to go and wait for another chosen one.